I'm Edward Green. McCall West Bradshaw will be joining me at the desk momentarily as we wrap up another regular season of high school football in our Tri-County area. We bring you our two Christmases recap, both from the Wilson County Derby between Hunt and Fike and the North Rocky Mount Derby between Rocky Mount and Northern Nash. We'll also catch you up on the 8-man football playoffs that went down this past week. We'll get you updated on the latest brackets from the NCHSAA going forward, Bishop's Corner, a Todd Gurley update, and 60 Seconds of Soccer Derby Edition. This is the all-new sports show for the Gaffer.
Dogs coming on blitz, a nice pickup. Green gets rid of it and caught on the deflection. Put 6 on the board, Knight fans. That is a touchdown.
Haggerty is running hit and run, but it's right to Carter, who flips the second for one over to first in time for a double play to end the inning. Howdy.
Well, there's a handsome devil.
Hello.
So nice to see you.
You as well, sir.
Did you enjoy Christmas?
I did. Did you?
It was lovely.
I know. Yes, sir. I heard you had a fun game.
Oh, sure did. We're going to talk about it tonight, folks. Welcome to the all-new sports show. He's Ed Green. I'm Wes Bradshaw. We haven't seen each other in a week.
I know. It's crazy.
Is crazy. We went our own separate ways on Friday night, our annual 2 Christmases.
A lot of fun.
If you tuned in yesterday, you got to see Christmas Part 1.
Yes.
That's Dad Christmas.
Yes.
That's Dad's Christmas.
Yeah.
That was the Hunt Fike game, the Hunt Fike Wilson County Derby.
It's very good.
And next week we get to go to Mom's house for Christmas, and we get the annual Rocky Mountain Northern Nash blood rivalry.
Yes.
And it lived up to the billing again this year.
It did. It was quite a good game.
Came down to the end.
Things I learned while covering the game. The Wilson County Championship has an actual trophy awarded.
Yes, they do.
It's huge.
They do. It's probably bigger than the East State title trophy.
It is, I think.
Things I learned in the Rocky Mountain Northern game. Northern fans still don't like me after all these years.
Shocker.
What the heck? What have I done? Okay, never mind.
Anyway.
Totally understand.
Capstone.
Totally understand. Folks, I will welcome you here to the all-new sports show presented each and every week by Roger G. Taylor and Associates. By the way, did not call it the capstone once in the game the other night.
Bravo, sir. Bravo.
Well, nice to meet. Folks, across the bottom, you'll see our other principal sponsors here on our television show. We ask, as always, that you please patronize them at your convenience.
Yes.
At this time of the show. Ed Green likes to put us over. So, Ed, why don't you go right ahead?
Twitter, at All New Sports Show, that you see on the bottom of the screen there. You'll see more of our social media innovational things on the bottom of the screen as well. I like that. Email allnewsportshow@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook. We'll be posting plenty throughout the playoffs there. Facebook.com/allnewsportshow.
Big week coming up for videos.
Oh,
2 Christmases, you got double the videos.
Huge amounts. YouTube.com/theallnewsportshow is the other place you can check out those videos. Find us on Instagram, All New Sports Show. Find us find our sister podcast, A Foreign Affair Pod, on Podbean.com, NGSCSports.com, and the iTunes Music Store, as well as where any other place you can listen to great podcasts. Soon to come, Google Music. And I think that's
also, we Periscope.
Excuse me, you're right. We do Periscope.
Periscope.
Did you guys actually Periscope? I didn't.
Periscope. We did not.
Under the
All-New Sports Show. Yes, I Periscoped on the way home.
Very safe.
Yeah, well, I have a nice holder up on the up on my truck, and I just had to talk with people on the way home. Man.
Makes sense.
I kept it in all night, so I had to talk, had to give them real talk on the way home.
So yeah, check us out on Periscope. Follow us there, All New Sports Show, and we love to give updates and stuff on there too. So
that's right, folks. Welcome to the show tonight. That's right. He's sitting in from the murder, Raimundo the Raven.
Raimundo.
I
like this one.
He's our butler Raven. So thank you, Raimundo, for sitting in and bringing us your Raven look. All right, folks, we're going to jump right into tonight.
Yes.
We've got a ton on board for you. We've got recaps from Rocky Mount Northern, Hunt Fike. Jimmy Lewis from the Wilson Times is going to be joining us. He's going to talk about the Eastern Plains three-way that they ended up with at the end of the season.
Yes.
Not the Devils, by the way.
Right.
He's going to talk about Southern National Central. We're going to have Josh Wallfish talking about Tarboro, talking about Rocky Mount Academy. We're going to talk playoffs with both of them, seedings, expectations, what we think is going to happen. So that's all coming up. And don't forget, folks, your hot plays of the week, hot plays of the game of the week. of the month of
Everything.
the year. They're going to be in there as well. We're going to update the standings on the Crystal Clear Pepsi 6-pack. A lot of stuff coming to you today. We'll have your most exciting minute of the week, and we are, well, you know, Europa, dog. That's where the real prize is Europa.
There you go.
And also, folks, we are going to break down those playoff brackets for you, and also we're going to say goodnight to the teams who have turned in their helmets and shoulder pads. But we're going to start off now at Death Valley, where myself and Tony Dowdy went on Friday night for the Sun Lake High School football game of the week.
You did very well.
And we had a good one, folks. Final score 20-13. Rocky Mount gets a win, and it was not any sort of a guarantee win. Rocky Mount comes into the game. Tragic moment happened on Friday afternoon. One of the JV players from Rocky Mount was shot and killed, as you've probably heard on the news, seen in your newspaper, read on your interwebs. Levante Brown was shot, was killed. So, you know, you had a group of kids, 15, 16, 17-year-olds, having to hit the road, had a football game. The football game was not canceled, was not postponed. They did decide to go ahead and play that night. Then we get over to Northern Nash. I got there about 6:30. The lights were off because they were having power issues. So at that point, they had actually called Rocky Mount, told them to hold on, and they called when the lights were on. So there was another kind of thing going against Rocky Mount. But Rocky Mount comes out very, very, very sluggish first half. But you know what really contributed to that sluggish first half? That's why Northern Nash came out to absolutely play, and they punched Rocky Mount in the face for the first 2 quarters. Rocky Mount unable to do much of anything against Northern's front 7. They couldn't run the ball. They couldn't complete passes. It was not a pretty day. Right before halftime, Northern Nash blocks a punt, which they then recover in the end zone for a touchdown. Extra point was blocked, but 6-0 at the half.
That's crazy.
Northern Nash leading Rocky Mount, and Ed, you know, the Rocky Mount side you could see was kind of in shock. And you know, even in the press box, we were all sitting there. Even the Northern Nash people in the press box were like, "Wow, didn't expect this."
I can imagine. You know, this is a Northern team though that has had a very solid defense all season. Now, granted, this was a Rocky Mount offense that has been very vaunted. B.J. Sanders and a plethora of others. You'll be seeing B.J. Sanders in just a minute, as he was your player of the game. But this is a really solid team. But when you have the adversity that they were facing, the fact that their offense wasn't clicking to start with is not shocking, especially when you talk about that great Northern Nash defense, who you talk about them wanting to come out something improved, punching them in the face. This is a Northern Nash team that most likely, even with the win, was not going to make the playoffs. It would have been very, very close, but the odds were very stacked against them. They were playing out there mostly for pride, and my hat's off to them. I got a little bit of talk from Clint Williams, who was your cameraman out at Death Valley on Friday night, about how the game went. News. And Christian Daniels, we both are kind of of the opinion, I think you might be as well. Next year, 2 years from now, Christian Daniels might be really, really, really good. But some of that youth just showed up at really opportune times, and that's really one of the things that allowed Rocky Mount to escape at the end of the day. But credit to Rocky Mount, real quick, just for everything they had to go through to grit out that win, a win they didn't really need, but they got anyway. Very credit to them.
And after our interview, we'll break down the defensive side of the football for Rocky Mount and the Northern Nash offense. But another thing both teams suffered from all night, we did have quite a bit of rain this week leading up to the football game.
Yes,
the northern field, if you were there, if you saw the video, if you see it next week, it was tough. It was a treacherous field. Both sides had receivers slipping out of breaks, guys trying to come back to the football on designed routes that they were just unable to actually run the proper routes. Because of footing on the field. So that really slowed down the passing games. But Rocky Mount, at the end, they did get that running game going in the second half. You could kind of see it late in the first half. The 1 and 2 yard runs were starting to become 3, 4, 5 yard runs. And then the second half, they finally took off. They were able to get control of the football game. And the guy who kind of made it happen, the one who had the big run for Rocky Mount, third play of the second half, a 56-yard touchdown run. That was number 1, B.J. Sanders. So, folks, for the third consecutive week, we have a Rocky Mount player of the game.
We told you guys we'd get to Rocky Mount.
And it's 2 different running backs. I believe, and B.J. said something to me. He said, and confirmed it with me. First time since 2008, Rocky Mount had 2,000-yard rushers in the same season. Nick Bynum and now B.J. Sanders. B.J. had a big night, got his 1,000 for the year, and as a result, got to be the player of the game for the All New Sports Show. So let's head out one more time to Death Valley.
The first time.
Well, first time for one more time to Death Valley for our talk with this week's Player of the Week, B.J. Sanders.
Yes.
And folks, we're coming to you tonight from Death Valley, home of the Northern Nash Knights, but tonight it is home for the Rocky Mount Griffons as they come out of here. They prevail 20-13 over the Knights, and we're talking with tonight's All New Sports Show Player of the Game, B.J. Sanders. Folks, it's 2 Christmases between me and Ed Green, but I got number 1. So obviously, I win again at 2 Christmases. BJ, big time game for you guys tonight. You come in, you've got the conference championship locked down. You're playing a Northern team that's not going to the playoffs most likely. You guys had every opportunity, every reason in the world to just sit back and chill. That team gave y'all a heck of a ball game tonight. Talk about the response when you're down 6-0 at the half.
Response, you're down 6-0. You just got to keep pushing. With us knowing, we probably came in a little easy because we know Northern. But we got to keep pushing and bring teammates up. Teammates not going to take nothing easy.
BJ, 6-0. Tony Day, the gentleman I did the ball game with tonight, he said first drive of the half, that was going to make or break Rocky Mount. We had to see what kind of mentality you guys had. 3rd and 2. I think everyone in the building thought Nick Bynum was going to get the football. Instead, they get you on the little backdoor reverse, and next thing you know, 56 yards later, you've hit pay dirt. Talk about that play real quick. Just break it down. Tell us what you saw.
Well, going into halftime, Coach Brace said we weren't playing too good. We had to show them that could bring up the tempo. I seen Brandon Valentine get a nice kick out. I seen daylight then. If I didn't make that dive, I don't think we would have got in there.
BJ, last but not least, you get a win over Northern Nash. This is your rival. Talk about A, beating Northern tonight, B, getting ready for the playoffs next week.
A, beating Northern, we didn't do very well, so we have to push harder in practice. We might not get a high seed in the playoffs, but we got to take them as a high seed. So take them, push hard, play hard against them, treat them like number 3.
Folks, he's number 1 in your hearts and in your playbook. He's B.J. Sanders, tonight's All New Sports Show Player of the Game. Let's kick this one back now to the All New Sports Show studios. Big thanks to B.J. Sanders, who said, folks, he's number 1 in your hearts. He's number 1 in your program, and he was number 1 as a guest this week on the All New Sports Show. He was your Player of the Game, Rocky Mount Northern Nash, 100 yards rushing. Maybe plus. I can't remember. You know me, I don't really keep the numbers.
Yes.
Luckily, though, Tony Daddy did keep the numbers.
Yay.
He's
always good for that.
I don't remember them at all. But anyway, so BJ having a big game. On the other side of the football, Northern Nash, they're somewhat Jekyll and Hyde on offense.
Sure.
They've got some good players. Christian Daniels has turned to as a sophomore, he's a quality high school quarterback. He's a sophomore. He'll get better. He's going to be a good quarterback before he leaves Northern Nash. Quan Whitaker, good running back. Offensive line for Northern, solid.
All right.
They've got physically really nice weapons at receiver.
Yes.
And one finally made a play the other night for Christian Daniels. Raymond Bullitt made kind of a twisting touchdown grab late in the ball game. And I think I said up there to the entire box, well, that's the first time a receiver's made a play for Christian Daniels all year. And most of them agreed.
Good.
But Northern just overall, that was the only offensive drive of the game really for them. They scored their other one on a blocked field goal, or a blocked extra point, blocked punt.
Yes.
Let me get every kicking duty out of the way and get it. Blocked punt that they recovered in the end zone near the end of the first half was their first score, and they scored this one late when they're down 20-7, and Rocky Mount was kind of clearly playing the prevent, trying not to win. But for the night, Northern just, talking to Clint, talking to Tony after the game, Northern Nash would have a nice play, but then wouldn't have another nice play until about 5 or 6 plays later.
Right.
Then they'd have a nice play, and then the next one will be a penalty. So that's where Northern is. We've seen teams, we've seen games with Northern in the past where there are no positive plays. There's nothing nice that come from. Northern definitely has spots where you can see if they can just tweak a few things, they can get it right. Yeah. So I do think this is a team definitely on the upswing. On the other side of the ball, that Rocky Mountain defense.
Really good.
That
5.7 is really good.
And folks, here's the scary part for you. Most of them are underclassmen.
Yeah.
The big defensive tackle, I believe his name's Daniel Thomas, is a junior. Artavius Richardson, I believe, had 3 sacks in this game. He's a junior.
Sherrod Green.
Look, a guy named Sherrod Green, who is an absolute monster at the linebacker spot. He's a junior. Detrell Rivas, probably their top corner. He's a sophomore.
Yeah.
This is a team that next year they're going to bring back a really good nucleus of defensive players. But this year, these guys are playing nearly lights out defense. I mean, when you consider who they played in the conference and who they've held down,
Certainly.
Southern Nash is an explosive football team. Fike has the potential to be an explosive football team.
Held them in check.
In the last 2 weeks, Rocky Mountain held both of them basically in check. Hunt gave them a scare late, but to me that kind of seemed more coming back late in the ball game, getting points. Nash Central. And Northern Nash was really unable to do anything against that defense. The Rocky Mountain defense, I think they're peaking.
Yes.
And they're peaking at the absolute perfect time, which is playoff time.
Certainly, and that is something that I think is so key, and it hasn't really shown up in recent years for this Rocky Mountain team. This is just another example of why I think that this Rocky Mountain team, if 1 or 2 things break right for them, they could go to the Eastern Finals. I think this is finally the year they have put it all together.
Well, and everybody keeps going back. Everybody talks about the Holt era at Rocky Mountain. The last year Holt was there was 2008. Final record was 13-2. Technically, that's a 14-1 record because the first game of the year they forfeited that they won by 30 over a 4A team, over a Division I quarterback. So, so technically call that a 14-1 year. They lose by 2 points in the Eastern Finals. That was a team that held teams. I want to say the average was maybe 9 points a game. They were holding teams. That was an extremely good defensive team.
Right.
And this team is the best defense I've seen at Rocky Mountain since then. I think it's the most complete team we've seen at Rocky Mountain since then. The thing is, they lost some playmakers from last year. They put Broad Cottle, put Harris in that group, but Kimbe Kearney.
Would it be better?
I think it would be. And that's what's scary is it could be. You put some of those. I mean, those are college football players.
Right.
You bring them back, put them in. But that's what it is. That's for everybody. I'm sure Fike will have a few guys back from last year.
But the guy who's been bringing them all together, Jason Battle.
Absolutely, Battle has done a fantastic job this year. And I'm gonna tell you, there was some pressure on Battle going into this year, more internally, just from the fan base, more or less, because Rocky Mountain had been taking baby steps, and people said this is the year you need to break through with this group, and he has.
Yes,
won a conference championship, 5-0 run. They're 9-2 overall going to the playoffs. They're a number 3 seed. Obviously, we'll get to that a little later. Not an easy road coming up for them, but Battle has them back. Close, much closer than they have been
in a long time
since that 2018. And we had a couple minutes to talk to Coach Battle at the end of this ballgame. So let's go back one more time to Death Valley out at Northern Nash for this week's Coach's Corner interview with Griffon head coach Jason Battle. So we'll get back one more time tonight to Death Valley. This is our Coach's Corner here on the All New Sports Show. Head coach Jason Battle. We're kind of making this a habit. 3 for 3 now, 3 weeks in a row. Jason Battle's been my big interview. Coach, last week you win the Big East title. This week you've got the chance for the undefeated regular season, and not only that, it's Northern Nash. Just talk about kind of the build up to this week.
Well, I thought we actually had a very good week of practice. We were real dialed in, focused on what we had to do. But we're dealing with a lot right now as a program and a school. So, not to take any credit away from Northern Nash, they played a great ball game tonight. But we came in here with some heavy hearts.
Coach, down 6-0 at the half. What did you tell them at halftime?
They have to play with some pride. Understanding the situation and going through a lot today, but right now it's about pride. So just taking pride in what you're doing and being on the field.
Coach, you won a few men. You've been on both sides of this rivalry during your playing days and now also into your coaching days. What's it mean for you on a personal level to come and get a win against Northern Nash?
Well, it's a conference opponent, so really that's the biggest part of it. It's a big game, conference opponent, county rivalry. It's a big game for us, and I just wish we would have shown up a little bit better than we did, but I'm glad we won.
Coach, moving on to next week, first round of the playoffs, we get a home game. We don't know yet who. The lone home game you've had in the playoffs laid an egg against Jacksonville your first year. Will you use that as motivation next week to this team?
Not as much. As I continue to say this year, this group has been different than any other group. I mean, they've been able to respond through all kind of adversity. So I'm letting them build their own. I'm gonna let them write their own finish.
Like said, Coach Jason Battle, 20-13 winners in a hard-fought ball game tonight at Northern Nash. 5-0, they get an undefeated Big East mark this year. They are your undisputed 2015 Big East Conference champions. Coach Battle, congratulations. Thank you for putting up with us these last 3 weeks, and we look forward to seeing your Griffons make a deep run.
I want to say before we leave, from Rocky Mount High School, Rocky Mount football, our prayers and thoughts are with the family of Levante Brown. Great kid, played on the JV team, bright future. Our prayers are with this family.
Amen.
Absolutely, folks. Let's take it back to the studio here for more of the All New Sports Show. Obviously, a very emotional night for Rocky Mount, an emotional time for Coach Jason Battle. Griffon's going to be getting back at it tomorrow, Monday afternoon, getting ready for a playoff run. Ed, you went to Dad's house.
I did. It was fun.
And you had Hunt Fike.
I got to sleep in a race car. Hunt with a huge win over their crosstown rivals, Fike, 52-20. I will say that scoreline will flatter to deceive just a little bit. Hunt scored late twice. One on a 1-yard run with about 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and when Fike was just kind of out of gas. And then literally moments later, after Fike got the ball, they fumbled. Hunt returned it right into the end zone. So that was 14 points right there. That just kind of crept up on Fike, unfortunately. I will say I still like Fike. There's a lot of things I like about him. The one thing that was very sad to see, A.J. Hines, who has had such a great career, just he looked like a shell of his past self, and that was so unfortunate. He never looked healthy in this game, never got going, and it was really unfortunately the DJ Daniels show. And DJ Daniels is a great player, but LeVar Spate was never really able to get going that much, and it was really up to DJ Daniels to try and get it going. Daniels did have a pass to Shaquan Daniels for a touchdown. Spate did have a 10-yard run, and there was a moment where Fike, you thought, okay, they've got it. They had it back to 17-14 just before, with about a minute and a half to go in the first half. Even though Hunt was going to get the ball back, you thought, okay, Hunt, they've been able to get some stops on Hunt now. They're going to go to the locker room only down 3. This would be a win, considering Hunt scored the first 10 points of the game. Right away, Darius Barnes, 80-yard run, first play from scrimmage. And that was it. Fike tried to come back. They tried to come back, but Hunt scored halfway through the third, and that really put the game out of reach. Hunt did have a turnover late in the game, which gave Fike a little bit of life that Fike was able to capitalize on. But, I mean, beyond that, I thought it was a very complete effort by Hunt. Barring that one fumble, they really played well. They didn't make any mistakes. Jacob Williamson, effective when he needed to be, 11 of 15, throwing the football, no interceptions for 166 yards. His 2 biggest completions on the night, one to Tay Davis. Actually, both were to Tay Davis. One was on a 3rd and 16 late in the third, almost right at the end of the third quarter, to get them a first down, which was huge. Just when you thought Fike would have some momentum, and then just a few plays into the fourth quarter, hits him again on a bomb, wide open in the end zone. Game over basically at that point. Really impressed with this Hunt team. You know, if it wasn't for how great Rocky Mount and how complete Rocky Mount has been this year, I honestly think Rocky Mount would be the best team in this conference. Right now, I think they're second. Sorry, Southern Nash. I think. Yes, I said sorry, Southern Nash. I think Hunt right now is the second best team in this conference, and I think they can do some damage for Fike. This is going to go, I think, down west as a season for Fike of just what ifs. one on defense and one with injuries, and two with injuries, I should say.
Absolutely. The injury bug for Fike. Fike had kind of the superstar cast coming back.
Yes.
When you look at guys like Kenny Johnson, DJ Daniels, of course, A.J. Hines, LeVar Spate. Those are guys who everyone knew the name, everyone had seen them do great things, and they came in with great expectations this year. But unfortunately, the defense never truly gelled. A.J. Hines was the heart and soul of that defense. Once he got injured and wasn't the same guy as you said anymore, that really hurt them. They just weren't able to really put it all together this year. And it will kind of be a season of what if. I think at the end of the day, guys will be going back saying, well, if we got this, if we got that.
Plus, there was a couple penalties early on in the game. On Fike's first drive, DJ Daniels had about a 65-yard run, got him down to about the 10-yard line of Hunt. That was called back because of a holding penalty. On Hunt's next drive, two offsides penalties by Fike allowed the drive to continue. Hunt would eventually go on to score their first touchdown of the game. So just not good enough this year for Fike, and that's unfortunate for a team that was so good last year.
And they had the guy who kind of shut the door on Fike, that huge run to end the first half.
3 touchdowns overall.
Darius Barnes, and you had a chance to interview him.
Yeah, I did. Darius Barnes, great interview. I was able to go down field level.
Good interviews this week.
Yeah, we did. So let's head out for the first time tonight to Buddy Bedgood Stadium over at Fike High School for my interview with Darius Barnes, our Joiners Funeral Home Player of the Game.
Here at Buddy Bedgood Stadium with our Joiners Funeral Home Player of the Game, Darius Barnes. Darius, 3 touchdowns in the game. Huge Wilson County derby for you guys. Of course, the big one was that 80-yarder right at the end of the first half. What were you thinking when you saw that green in front of you?
Gotta go. Green light, gotta go. Grass, green, gotta go.
Of course, with this win, you guys win the Wilson County Championship. You beat Beddingfield, you beat Fike. Got a nice big trophy. How does it feel to get that win to end the season?
Oh, it feels good. It feels good to bring the trophy back home where it belongs. And I had to thank my teammates for outstanding blocking. But it feels good to bring the trophy home where it belongs.
Well, 8-2 overall now because you'll get to drop a non-conference loss heading into the playoffs. I heard your coach, Stevie Hinnant, there giving you some words of encouragement heading into the next week. What was he telling you guys?
Basically, it's not going to get any easier, and we got to, what we did tonight got to carry over to the next game. We can't give up or slack up. It's got to carry over. So.
Absolutely. Anything else you want to say to the adoring legions of fans you have out here tonight who came out to support this team?
I just want to say, Woods and Hunt, we the best, and Gas House all the way.
Whatever that means. Steve for saying, Darius, you're our Joiners Funeral Home Player of the Game. Congratulations for that, and we look forward to seeing you more in the playoffs.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, let's head it back to the studio.
Gas House.
And that might have been the best tackle of the night. You holding him back. You were the only one who could stop him, it sounds like.
Yes. Great.
Tom Nelson didn't try to get you a hell in the jersey, did he?
No.
Did you explain to him you've never played down organized football in your life?
I'm pretty sure I have at some point.
Good.
But big thanks to Darius Barnes for taking a few minutes
Absolutely.
out there. Gas
Yeah, he
House,
had fun with
something
it.
they started last year with like some of the returning guys. Don't worry about it. But really, I think Hunt, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, but as you mentioned when we were talking right here while that interview was playing, Hunt is the 8th seed. They will get a home game against Lee County this Friday night in the playoffs. And then they're most likely going to have to go to Terry Sanford.
It's interesting.
It's not out of the realm of possibility that...
Well, I've always thought this Hunt team was actually a little more built for the playoffs.
Yeah.
They play defense, they run the football effectively, and they have a competent quarterback. Jacob Williamson's not exactly setting the world on fire this year.
He's
but
good enough.
If you get a performance out of him like you got Friday night,
For 15,
plus
no
Darius
picks.
Barnes running the football, I mean, they don't have to score 52 points to win football games. That defense is going to be good enough to do some good things for them. I think there are a lot of kind of pessimistic people in Wilson right now. I kind of heard it this week around the community. People saying, well, it'll be one and done. It'll be one and done. But I think Hunt, with the right draw, and I don't think they got a terrible draw.
No.
I wouldn't be shocked to see Hunt second, third round.
No, I mean, at that point, anything really could happen because you don't know once you get to that point.
Oh, look, there's Northern Guilford. That's going to work out well for him, even as a 13 seed.
At least they'll have to come to Wilson if that happens.
You get an 8-13 in the third round, it's Northern Guilford. Wow.
It's just fate. It's just
Paul Durham may jump off the top of the jungle.
Yeah, and unfortunately, someone who knows all about Northern Guilford and the travails with Hunt High School is head coach Stevie Hinnett. He was very gracious to also take a few minutes after a rousing post-game pep talk with his team that we did put on Periscope, so that's why you should check that out. So, but he came to talk with me for a few minutes. So let's head one more time out to Buddy Bedgood Stadium for my interview with head coach Stevie Hinnett.
Now back out here at Buddy Bedgood Stadium with head coach Stevie Hinnett, victorious on the night 52-20. This was a close game for a while, went into the halftime with a 10-point lead, but you ballooned it out through the second half. What were you guys seeing out there?
Well, we didn't change anything, and I just in these games, just like last year at our place, when that thing snowballs on you like it did them tonight, we couldn't do anything wrong, and they did some things wrong, and it just happens. I ain't got no answer for it.
There was a fumble sort of late in the middle of the second half, that might have given Fike a little bit of life, but you guys quickly responded, and on the next drive, Jacob Williamson had two very important passes, one for a first down, one for a touchdown. Talk about his senior leadership on the night.
Well, Jacob, if you give him time to throw it, he's going to make good things, and the kids rally around him. They know that. It's nothing that I've taught him or any of the coaches taught him. He just got the God's gift of being able to throw that football, and he threw it well tonight. And as far as the fumble's concerned, I ain't going to go out as far as to say we're the best defense in the conference, but we're pretty daggone good.
You've been showing it here so far in the Big East. And now, talk about another guy, Darius Barnes. He was our Joint Funeral Home play of the game. 3 touchdowns, sparked you guys at the end of that first half with a big 80-yard touchdown run. Talk about his contribution tonight.
Darius is a leader, a silent leader. Plays hard every game. He's a fine young man, and anything that happens good to him is certainly deserving. He's fun to coach, has been fun to coach, and tonight was his night.
Well, in the post-game huddle there, I heard you make some mentions that it's not getting any easier now with the playoffs coming next week. What are your thoughts heading into the first round next week?
Well, first of all, we're just glad we're going. We got on a little 2-game skid there early on. I still think, you look back, we're 16 points away from being undefeated, so it really don't matter to us if we probably won't be at home, but if we are, and we don't care who's coming, and we don't care where we have to go, we're thankful to be playing football next Friday night.
There you go. That's head coach Stevie Hinnett. Join us here in the post-game Coach's Corner. Always seems like when we're ever doing Hunt games, we're always talking Coach Stevie Hinnett. Mark of a great coach. He gets to win the Wilson County Derby tonight. Now let's take it back to the studio.
I just actually looking. It's only in the last 2 years. It's only the 3rd time we've had a post game with Stevie.
It's been a couple years for Hunt, where they're not winning everything.
Not everything.
Not everything.
Not everything.
But hey, for a long time, we talked to Randy Raper all the time when he was over there, and they were really, really good. So, big thanks to head coach Stevie Hinnett, one of our absolute favorite guys to deal with in this area, and another one of our absolute favorite guys to deal with in this area, because I am segueing like I've got one going down the street. Jimmy Lewis from the Wilson Times.
Actually take back that handshake after that.
You like that? You don't like my segue?
No, because that's not how you ride a segue. Jimmy,
I don't know.
Speaking of riding, Southern Nash rode to an easy victory against Nash Central on Friday night, 56-19. I don't know really much we can talk about it. This is about what we expected, I think.
Yeah, pretty much. More or less, this was just an opportunity for Southern Nash to get some things in order before the playoffs. They kind of did that in some respects. You have to give a brief shout out to Jaquay Mitchell, who had 5 total touchdowns on senior night, one of a handful of Southern Nash seniors that went out winners in their final regular season home game. Jaquay had 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 receiving touchdowns, and also picked up a fumble and ran it back 10 yards. So awesome game from him, even though it wasn't an undermanned opponent in Nash Central. One thing I think that Southern Nash was able to do heading into the playoff was really solidify the spread concept of their offense. As we all know, they can come out and hit you with a double wing, they can hit you with a spread passing attack. They really focus on the spread offense and really getting downfield with the deep ball. Zach Foster, very efficient night. I think 6 of 8 passing through 3 touchdown passes. 2 to Jaquay Mitchell, another one to Gerard Wright. I mean, there's two other weapons in the Southern Nash passing attack that can really be a boon to them down the stretch. So if they can get that going, they'll be even more dangerous heading into the playoffs.
You're going to need it. They got not an easy road, but we'll get to that a little later. Jimmy, the other big ball game in the Wilson area, the battle for the Eastern Plains Conference Championship, Southwest Edgecombe and Bedingfield. They go head-to-head. Bedingfield coming in for a chance at the outright conference title. Southwest with one loss, that being to Washington. Washington had one loss, that being to Bedingfield. So Bedingfield, the only team that truly controlled their own destiny. But I think most of us thought at the end of the night, Southwest Edgecombe, from what we've seen this year, I think they're just a better football team than Bedingfield. And that final scoreline, 42-21, Southwest pulling away, especially in the second half, that kind of told the story. And I think most of us were right on with that.
Yeah, and Bedingfield kind of they had avoided the big turnovers. They avoided the bad situations happening to them in conference play, but it really caught up to them in Pine Tops on Friday night. 3 big turnovers that Southwest was able to capitalize on. They also ran into a very tough injury situation with Lamont Morgan and DeMonte Cherry, both quarterbacks who have done an excellent job running that 2-quarterback system, especially in conference play. Both went down with injuries at various times. Cherry on defense. Marcus Parker had to step in and finish that game out. So really the worst of all worlds if you were Bedingfield. Coming into this season, I was kind of hesitant to think Bedingfield could go very far because of the propensity to turn the ball over and do mysterious things in certain situations. And they had avoided that right up until that Southwest game, and then it all just seemed to come home to roost, if you will, in that regular season finale. But certainly give Southwest Edgecombe credit. I mean, they came out and they played a turnover football game. Perhaps if they did this against Washington, the outcome would have been much more competitive. The turnovers did the Cougars in that night, and Washington was able to really get an insurmountable lead early. But the Cougars come out, control this game. They respect the football, take care of it, and they were certainly rewarded in the end with a win to help them share the EPC title, and they got a number 2 seed in the postseason for their efforts.
Jimmy, let's just now let us give credit where credit's due to Bedingfield.
Yes.
Who thought at the end of the year we'd be saying conference champions Bedingfield?
Well, Tyrone Johnson did, because as Jimmy mentioned, I think last week, he told Jimmy in our previews, if I can just get to the conference schedule healthy, I've got a chance. And that's exactly what happened. And like you said, give a lot of credit to this Bedingfield team. They put their money where their mouth is, competitive in every game this season, And like you said, the turnovers just kind of defeated them in the end against Southwest Edgecombe. But the fact that they were in there at the end and had a shot to win this conference outright speaks volumes for what this team was able to accomplish.
Well, they're going to, Jimmy, they're going to be able to put up a banner for 2015 saying they're the Eastern Plains Conference champions.
Yeah, certainly so. And with the first conference championship they've shared since 2006, I believe, when they were members of 3A Eastern Carolina Conference, that they shared the conference title with Hunt that year. But let's not write Bedingfield off just yet. I mean, they got the short end of the stick, if you will, with the way the draw came out in the three-way tie scenario. They drew lots before the game to determine the seeding, and Washington got 1, Southwest 2, and Bedingfield 3. But even with that, Bedingfield still got a number 5 seed in the home game, so Bedingfield is still in a decent situation here as we go into the playoffs. They'll get South Granville, a team that likes to run the flex zone, so assignment football will be paramount there. But certainly Bedingfield, depending on what the extent the injuries are to Lamont Moore and DeMonte Cherry, they can get back on the horse and make a postseason run.
And they say, they end up with a number 5 seed. Washington actually ends up with a number 8 seed. They're going to host Northside Jacksonville in the first round. So let's fantasy book it a little bit. Bedingfield, if they can beat South Granville, most likely will be heading down I-95 and going to Clinton for round 2. The Dark Horses, kind of getting back on track this year. They've had an 8-2 season, and if they can get through that, maybe a trip to T.W. Andrews in the 3rd round. So for Bedingfield, still a lot left for that group to play for.
Definitely so. And if Enfield is able to get by South Bramble, and as you said, they'll more likely go to Clinton. I've been to that stadium one time in my life. It did not end well for the team I was affiliated with that night, but certainly they have an opportunity to make a little run here in the postseason.
There you go. Let's move up real quick. Now, is that our three? That's our three double A.
Yep. So Jimmy Hunt will be hosting Lee County, and then if they win that one, would be going on the road to play Terry Sanford. Fike is in 3 single A. They'll be heading to Topsail if they win that one. Topsail. If they win that one, Topsail.
As someone who went to the beach for 18 years, it's Topsail.
Topsail. If they win that one, they'll most likely be heading to Southern Guilford.
David Pitt, please call in on this and tell them how to say
Don't. Jimmy, what are your thoughts on the draws for Hunt and Fike? I mean, Wes and I were just kind of thinking, it's not out of the realm of possibility that Hunt could make it to the 3rd round.
No, not at all. And Hunt is very, very fortunate to end up with a home game being a number 3 seed from the conference. I mean, if you flip it around and look at Southern Ash, they finished second in the Big East. They land in the 3A bracket. They're going on the road as a 9 seed. So it just comes down to that single A, double A split and where teams go sometimes. Just seems like teams who have worse records are hosting games, whereas teams that maybe are in a better situation are going on the road. But that's just luck of the draw and how it is. Hunt has the offense that's portable, if you will, as we've said throughout the season and throughout the tenure of Stevie Hennon and going back to Randy Raper. Hunt's going to be a run-first football team that relies on its defense to get stops. I mean, that offense does travel well in hostile situations. I mean, it's a simple formula.
All right, Jimmy. Well, we appreciate you joining us here on the show tonight, and we will look forward to talking with you later on as the playoffs progress. Hopefully, all the Wilson teams will be making very deep runs, so we can keep chatting with you well into November.
We need to keep you in some work, too. So.
Yes.
All right, thanks.
All right, thanks, Jimmy.
Be good, Jimmy.
So that is Jimmy Lewis of the Wilson Times. Sort of ended on a dud there, but that doesn't matter. Thanks for joining us, Jimmy. And
start talking to us. He gets next week off.
I don't blame him. But let's take a commercial break.
That's right, folks. We know that was a long first segment for you, folks. We're all going to go a little long because we got playoffs to talk about. And we're not going to be here next week. So anyway, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, your most exciting minute of the week. Also, Josh Wildfish. We've still got their hot plays of the week come up. We're going to break down the playoff brackets. We're going to do it all with our friend Raimundo right here on the All New Sports Show, brought to you by Roger G. Taylor & Associates on WHIG TV.
The new place is perfect, or at least it will be, with a little help from Dex. In the book or at DexKnows.com. Dex can help you get results fast and deliver the best local advice so you can get it done right here, right now.
We should do this more often.
Dex, results for the here and now.
The WHIG TV karaoke show is moving to an all-new night, Tuesdays at 9:30. Catch all your favorite singers from Zaxby's every Tuesday at 9:30 and Saturday at 9:30, only on WHIG TV.
And we welcome everyone back here on the All New Sports Show, brought to you by Roger G. Taylor and Associates, Wes Bradshaw, Ed Green. Folks, we've got a lot more football to come, but first,
the Fooch Bowl.
To the foot. Yes. It is time for your most exciting minute of the week, and it's time for 60 seconds. Oh, sucker.
Jesse.
Oh, sucker.
The team who came back from the dead.
and 60 seconds on the clock.
Go ahead.
Steven Gerrard, I love you. You are a man who has made my life very happy. In a soccer way, of course. Steven, please never come back when we play Crystal Palace again. This does not seem to work. Stevie G returns today for the first time to Anfield as a spectator. Playing Crystal Palace, that of course was his final home game that we lost, and today Liverpool loses 2-1, first loss of the Jurgen Klopp era. It's all right, folks. It had to come from somewhere, and Yannick Bolasie does it to us all the time. We won Europa. Go ahead.
Your match in Europa. You haven't actually won Europa yet. Big week for Spurs. Three big games. Big win against Aston Villa. Big win on Thursday against Anderlecht at home. And then today, the North London Derby, the 177th edition, I believe is what they said, of the North London Derby. Harry Kane with a goal. He now has 6 in 3 matches. Equalized late, but I think we were happy to go out there with a point.
And you kissed your sister.
We're better. We're so much better than them. That's the best part. That's the best part.
Really?
I think we are. I think we are in a lot of ways.
And we're having somewhat of a injury crisis.
So we're just getting healthy. The midfield that started against them in our win at White Hart Lane this year didn't even play today.
Okay. I'll say that remains to be seen, but I have no problem with you as a fan coming from there. So, okay.
We were better than them today.
All right, folks, away from the foot, back to the foot. Joining us from the Rocky Mountain Telegram now, Josh Wallfish. He is going to talk a little bit about very little bit about the Edgecombe County Derby, Tarboro North Edgecombe. We're going to talk a little bit about Rocky Mount Academy season coming to an end. Then we're going to talk playoffs. Josh, Tarboro North Edgecombe. They are who we thought they were. They are the Tarboro Vikings, and they took care of business against, granted, a depleted North Edgecombe team. Where does this leave both teams going to the playoffs right now, Josh?
Well, obviously it gives Tarboro a lot of confidence to continue to be clicking on offense. Unlike Rocky Mount High, that, like you guys talked about this, earlier, but with everything that's gone over the past 48 to 72 hours, they came out and they weren't all there heading into the playoffs now, and now you look at Tarboro and they took care of business. They took care of business convincingly, and there's a lot of confidence in that group heading into the playoffs. Granted, they're not going to be tested in the opening round. They probably won't be tested in the second round, but you need to take care of business and take care of business convincingly to build that confidence and really kind of roll smoothly into playoffs time.
And Josh mentioned, unfortunately, for Rocky Mount Academy, a team that was already in the playoffs, 8-man NCISAA state playoffs started, first round / semifinals, and unfortunately, much as their season began, it ends in similar fashion with a loss against Arundel Parrott Academy by somewhat similar margin of victory. A good season, though, on balance, for first-year head coach Terrell Hudgens, just not able to beat the highest of competition.
Yeah, and it was one of those things that we were all kind of curious about. How would Rocky Mountain Academy stack up against the other members of what I'll really consider the big four in 8-man football: Southampton, Raleigh St. David's, Kinston Parrott, and obviously themselves. And when they played the lesser competition, they bore bottom as we expected them to do, but when it came to the big guys, Rocky Mountain Academy took that step back. Some of it obviously is teams circle that game on their calendar. You got 2-time defending state champions, you're circling that game, you want to be up, you want to be playing your best against a 2-time defending state champion. But by the same time, you look at where Rocky Mountain Academy lost, and losing players like Jacob Hunter, losing players like Rod White, losing the number of seniors that they lost from last year's team, it was bound to take its toll on them, and unfortunately it did. When they put some of the tougher competition.
I mean, that's life. That happens. Young Rocky Mountain Academy team should be back better with a vengeance in 2016. All right, Josh, let's take a look at the playoffs. Where are we going to start? We're going to start with,
what do you want?
Looks like we're in North Edgecombe.
Sure. They are an 11 seed. They'll be having to head to Pamlico County. Two teams coming in with 5-5 records. And if they do win there, they will be most likely, I would say, going to Weldon. and that's a winnable game. Josh, can North Edgecombe make the third round of the state playoffs in 1A?
I was just with they call me, but I think North Edgecombe actually will keep a chance to make it to the third round. And I'm not sure they could even make it to the fourth round. Southside's a team that doesn't play a lot of good defense. If Antoine Goodman is fully healthy for that third round game, if they were to play Southside, and North Edgecombe gets some of their health back and they get on my Lions back and all these players, they could beat Southside. I mean, they gave Southside a heck of a game last year in the second round. Most of the team is back for the Warriors. So, as crazy as it sounds, and it's kind of like last week, which is, if they get healthy, North Edgecombe can make a very deep playoffs run, and even outlast a team like Rocky Mount High or Southwest Edgecombe. Both of them have much tougher draws in the second and third round than North Edgecombe would.
Well, and another one of those teams that's going to be in 1A, this one in the 1AA. Tarboro gets the 2 seed over on the East. They'll be playing Heidi Trask in the 15th seed, and then they get either Lakewood or Rosewood before most likely facing James Key in the third round and Wallace Rose Hill in an Eastern final. They would have to travel to Wallace Rose Hill. Josh, the playoff forecast for the Tarboro Vikings.
Yeah, the one team that really needs the luck on the draw did not get it. If Tarboro had been the 1 seed and all of a sudden the Virgin Winston-Salem goes through Tarboro, I can guarantee there are a lot of teams out on the 1AA East that would be very, very scared to be coming to the Viking Stadium and come playoff time. But again, as you mentioned, I mean, this is the best Tarboro team since they had that run 5 straight state championship appearances, state title game appearances, winning those 3. Getting James Keenan at Tarboro is very helpful. I think that can be the difference between a tight loss last year and potentially a victory this year. And again, going into Wallace Rose Hill is going to be a difficult matchup, but if there's one team and there's one coach that's going to be able to make that road trip and to be prepared for that road trip, it's going to be Jeff Craddock and the Vikings. This is a team that expects to win a state title every single year. I think they're probably back in a position that they could actually accomplish those goals. Now, it will be difficult when you look at the west half of their bracket. There are a lot of great teams on the 1AA West as well. But, finally, Tarboro gets, some wins in the non-conference that allows us to move up the draw and get a 2 seed. And anytime you're hosting a playoff game, you got a decent chance to win in advance. So I personally think Tarboro is going to get back to Winston-Salem and get back to the state title. But obviously it remains to be seen if the sophomores can continue to handle the pressure that they've been able to handle so well through the first 11 games.
Josh, talking about Tarboro finally able to win some non-conference games, and that got them the big seed, got them the home games. A team that they beat in the non-conference, who maybe if they could have just won one more non-conference game, they would have got a home game. The Southern Nash Firebirds, they end up getting the number 9 draw in the small 3A, and they did not get an easy one. They've got to go to a good West Craven team who's only lost 1 game this year. Yep. And they're an 8 seed. The small 3A may be as brutal a playoff run as there is in North Carolina this year, obviously taking away maybe the 4AA West. But the small 3A East is a dogfight, and let's start off talking about a team who could shock the world and be really good in it, and that is Southern Nash.
Yeah, it's funny because I went back and forth with quarterback Zach Foster on Twitter a little bit yesterday, and he was very confused. I think most of the Nash fans are very confused. How in the world is Top Soul a 5 seed? How in the world is Eastern Wayne a 6 seed? And neither one of them have winning records. And unfortunately for Southern Nash, by not beating Rocky Mount High, they got into a position where all of a sudden they are a very good 2 seed who gets slotted behind the winners of split conferences. Eastern Wayne finished 5th in their conference, but they were the highest 3A seed. They slot in as 6th. Topsail finished 5th in their conference. They're the highest 3A team. They slot in 5th.
Needs to be looked at.
That's something that maybe needs to be changed when it comes to the draw and to protect a team like Southern Nash. But when you have those teams slotting in at the 5th and 6th position, that throws everybody off, and you get a game like this, where they have to go to West Craven, the team that has played extremely well. They only lost the season to Havelock, who's the number 2 seed, and is unbeaten. So I don't like the Firebirds' chances at all. They are a very good team. They probably, if they were hosting this game, maybe I give them a little bit better of a chance. But going on the road to West Craven, the team that's only lost to Havelock this year, I feel like, given the issues that Southern Nash has had, holding on to the football, and making the big plays when they need to the most, not looking good for the Firebirds.
And Josh, got Zach Foster on the right now. Josh, speaking of Havelock, they're the number 2 seed, and they are most likely who Rocky Mountain would be matching up with in the 3rd round if the Griffons advance that far.
Yeah, I'm going to say, you talk about the opposite of Southern Nash. You have Rocky Mountain High, who's wins the draw for the 3 seed, gets Burlington Williams, who does have a winning record, and then, you get South Johnston, who barely squeaked by Southern Nash at home and is coming off an upset loss, or Eastern Wayne, who has given Southern Nash a lot of trouble over the years in the playoffs, but is 4-6 on the year. So that's a very nice draw for the Griffons to be at home, get 2 very winnable games here in Rocky Mountain, and then have to go travel at Havelock. Now, the one thing Rocky Mountain does very well is they run the football. And we saw them against Middle Creek when the defense steps up, and the defense is able to stop the run like they were at Middle Creek. That gives them a chance to beat any team. And Middle Creek is the top team, in 4AA East this year. They drew the 1 seed undefeated, and it's very possible Rocky Mountain High probably should have beaten them, earlier this season. So the Griffons have the talent to go to Havelock and win. The question is, can the defense and the offense, can they all come together as one to play? But it's going to have to be their best game yet if they're going to be able to shock Havelock.
All right. So I believe that kind of takes care of all of our teams. We'll talk about it more in the upcoming weeks. Of course, next week we're not going to be here. Wesleyan football, season finale. I want to give away tickets tonight. That wouldn't let me. Thanks a lot. But then, folks, Lord willing, we got some teams going to the 3rd round. Yes. We'll talk about that the next week, and hopefully have maybe Josh Wallfish back with us. Josh, thank you so much for hopping on with us, and man, have a fun week here in the playoffs.
All right, thanks so much, guys.
Have a good one, Josh.
Well, either way, we'll bring Josh to talk about how teams flamed out in the 2nd round. So, either way, we'll be talking to Josh.
Hopefully not the 1st round.
Yeah, well, some will. But we got some more stuff to do. Let's do Bishop's Corner.
Hey, let's go, because next week we're doing a Bishop game.
Hey, and what better way to join the Bishops than on a 3-game win streak?
Win streak!
You called it, though. You called it the schedule break for them.
Schedule broke. It was an extremely front-loaded schedule.
Yeah.
They're not as bad as the record says. It's just the front of that schedule was brutal for Wesleyan.
Absolutely. They have a chance to get to 500 next week on Senior Day against Ferrum. But this is a team that jumped out to a 31-10 halftime lead and never looked back. Another great game for Dustin Midget, 275 yards passing. Malik Adams, 170 yards receiving. Kid's good. Just what else can you say? Wesleyan also overcomes 3 turnovers. LaGrange did provide them with 4, though. So another.
LaGrange, the official girls softball team of the All New Sports Show.
Yes, we love LaGrange softball.
Love LaGrange softball. LaGrange football.
Not so much. So we'll see how the Bishops do. Again, they'll be coming home for Senior Day this Saturday at 1 o'clock for their game against Ferrum College.
That's right.
And we'll see if the Bishops can close out with a 4th straight win and get to 500 on the season.
Of course, we will be there filming the game, folks. I, Wes Bradshaw, have a gimmick table set up between 12:05 and 12:15. I will be signing autographs near the concession stand. If I have my own personalized T-shirts ready by then, I will be selling them. So keep that in mind. Come see me next Saturday, folks. Ed. Crystal clear Pepsi 6-pack may be as murky as it has been all year as we go to the playoffs.
Where could end at any moment.
Which can end at any moment. And there's literally really only one person who doesn't matter in it. Hi, Clint.
Let's go to the picks. and see how he did this week. Oh, it's fantastic. There's Wes Bradshaw, his only miss, Fike over Hunt. Oh, AJ Hines is crying somewhere. But you did go 5-1. You did get Rocky Mount over Northern, Southern over Central, Southwest over Beddingfield, Tarboro, -30, over North Edgecombe, and
Not that we keep up with point spreads.
No, not that I just made that one up on my own. And Parrot over RMA. We'll go to the next one now.
I love you in Vegas.
Oh, that's me. Perfect week. One more needs to be said. Perfect. Perfect. Rocky Mount, Hunt.
Give it in just a moment.
Going on here to the next one. I believe it is. I believe it's Tony Dowdy.
It'll be Tony Dowdy.
Turner Dowdimus.
Turning to Dowdy.
Tony Dowdy.
Tony Dowdy.
Or anybody. I don't really care. Whoever's
Ariana
it doesn't really matter.
Coming out of the pen.
Anytime.
Yeah, he looks just like you.
Oh, no. Oh, that's not great. Did it crash, Lee?
There it is! Tony Dowdy!
The only miss somehow is Beddingfield Southwest.
God, that's all right. You would have thought Beddingfield Southwest would,
Yeah. Beddingfield was 4-0.
I think Tony just, he was going for narrative.
Yeah.
He's going for narrative, which you'll see in just a moment. But first, let's see Clint Williams' picks of the week.
Yeah.
Father won Clint Williams. It doesn't really matter.
So let's go to the standings. And you can see. Remember, they're not Bournemouth. They're AFC Bournemouth. I'm on top by goal differential and alphabetical.
Just alphabetical.
Tony.
He's my first name.
Just one back, and Clint's on the board.
Clint's in the relegation zone.
Yeah.
Who can we relegate Clint out for and bring in next year? Paul Durham. Obviously Paul Durham.
Feeling strong into Taylor.
Let's go on back, and those are your crystal clear Pepsi six-pack standings.
Oh, he's like Lester, always trying to avoid the drop.
Should we actually mention that Clint Williams is in studio right now? Because this is probably awkward if we don't.
He just showed up, and he's trying to make a late season run, but unfortunately his early season malaise has been difficult to shake. So that is your crystal clear Pepsi six-pack. Ed, of course.
If I had a tablet, I would throw it.
If ifs and buts were berries and nuts. Going forward, how will we do the playoffs?
We will keep doing any team that is still alive in our play will be in the picks. And then if we can't fill 6 up with those teams, I'll just make something up.
We'll pick soccer.
We'll
pick international friendlies.
International break coming. Todd Gurley update.
Todd Gurley update. The biggest, bestest update of the week, folks. Our favorite player in the NFL, ahead of only Greg Hardy.
Not even as a joke. Not even as a joke.
Poor Ramondo.
Todd Gurley had an awful week this week. 89 yards rushing, 20 receiving, only 1 touchdown. He's slipping. He's just.
In Todd Gurley news, his jersey and cleats are actually now on display in Canton at the Pro Football Hall of Fame after having, I believe, the best first 4 games in NFL history of rushing.
Wow.
For a rookie.
Legitimately.
Legit. They are on display right now. And also, Todd has started his first commercial.
Yes.
Which I showed you earlier.
We'll show that to you in a couple weeks.
Yeah. Maybe even keep an eye out. We'll show it on the show in a couple weeks.
Can we post it on Facebook?
We'll find it on Facebook this week for you guys.
Okay.
Todd has his first great endorsement deal.
I loved it.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Nobody plays a straight man better than Todd Gurley.
When he appears one day on this show, once again, when he makes his triumphant return to the All New Sports Show.
With the Rookie of the Year trophy.
With his Rookie of the Year trophy, the Lombardi trophy, his NFL MVP.
Lombardi trophy is maybe a stretch.
We will get him to reenact his commercial.
Yes.
All right, so keep it up, Todd Gurley. You're the only reason we even care that the NFL exists.
Kind of true.
Ed.
Better be on SNL before he's here.
Oh, that'd be big time. SNL to the All New Sports Show. SNL to the ANSS.
ANSS. Very well done.
Almost.
Very well done.
All right, folks. To conclude, 2 Christmases.
Yes.
We
didn't fight over it this year.
We didn't fight over it this year.
Thank God.
God, that was a great one. We bring you the 2 biggest gifts late in the show. We have our 2 Krispy Kreme.
Well, one
Krispy Kreme hot play of the week.
One is a moment of wow.
And then just a moment of wow. So we're going to settle that now. Ed, you know what order they're in. So
I believe the moment of wow is first. Okay. And then we head to the Krispy Kreme hot play of the week. So let us first go back one more time to Buddy Bedgood Stadium before heading out to Death Valley as we roll both all new sports show plays of the week. We can get that footage going. Head on back out to the 2 stadiums.
There has been a good amount of offense from the Hunt Warriors tonight. Let's see how aggressive they want to get, though, here with 86 seconds and 2 timeouts. Here's a pitch to Barnes. Barnes takes it to the outside. Barnes has a little run. Barnes breaks free. Could he score? He's going. He's got it. No flags. Barnes scores. Immediate answer by the Warriors. A lot of life thought to be going to the halftime for the Fight Golden Demons, and Darius Barnes erases it with his 3rd score of the night. What a game for this Hunt Warrior. And he adds to the touchdown total. It's Fike 14, Hunt 23.
And 4th and 6 coming up. Griffon send out the punt team again. It is Forrest Bell. Bell needs a punt much like Daniels had the last time. High and long.
If he doesn't, it's going to be a big
Northern coming for it. It's blocked. It's blocked. Knight's going to pick this up in the end zone. Put 6 on the board. Knight fans. That is a Northern Nash touchdown. And absolutely, that touchdown brought to you by Lou Rita's at American Table, a nominee for the Krispy Kreme hot play of the game.
You got a number on who scored?
And Tony, just like that ball game turned. I believe it was Raymond Bullock who got the block. All right, there are your plays of the week, of the century, of the year. Yeah.
We might do a play of the year later.
Oh, we could. All right, Ed, let's take everybody down one more time. We've talked about them. Let's run down those brackets real quick.
Starting in 2AA, Bedingfield is the 5 seed. They will be taking on South Granville, the 12 seed. If they win, they will either be playing Clinton or North Brunswick. In the 2 single A, Southwest Edgecombe is the 2. They just narrowly missed out on that 1 to a very good Kinston team. Southwest Edgecombe will be hosting Farmville Central, a team they already beat in conference play this year. If they win, they will either be hosting East Bladen or Graham. Wrecker. 1AA.
Continue.
You made that joke earlier this year, so don't do that to me. 2C is Tarboro Vikings. They'll be taking on Tascade, the 15 seed.
Heidi Trask.
I know.
That's a comma.
It's a joke.
It's a lady. Her name's Heidi.
Heidi Trask. Lakewood, Rosewood coming up in the second round for them. And again, a matchup with James Keenan looms in the 3rd round before Walsers Hill in round 4.
We don't look ahead though.
Oh, we don't. Never do. North Edgecombe will be heading the road. Again, Pamlico County, 6 versus 11 there. If they win, they will be taking on most likely Weldon or possibly Mattamuskeet, but I'm betting Weldon, the 3 seed, who is 5-5.
And just think of that 3rd round matchup.
So bad.
If we got the dream matchup, North Edgecombe going to the Kippers.
The Kippers of Kip Pride.
Oh, the Kippers.
Oh.
We would definitely go cover that game.
We would.
Sending all 30 fans to each other.
3AA. Hunt is the 8th seed. They'll be hosting Lee County, the 9th seed. They would most likely be going to Terry Sanford down in Fayetteville if Hunt is able to win there. As for, that's all for 3.
And potentially Northern Guilford.
Yeah, 3 single A. Fike is the 12th seed. They'll be going to Topsail. And they would be playing most likely Southern Guilford on the road if they are able to win there.
Good Rocky Mount season here.
Southern Nash is the 9th seed. They'll be going to West Craven, the 8, and will most likely be playing the number 1 seed after that, Eastern Alamance, who is undefeated. Rocky Mount, as we mentioned, will be playing Walter M. Williams, the 3 versus 14 matchup. Then they will take on either Eastern Wayne or South Johnston before matching up, I would assume, with Havelock in the 3rd round. And finally, your 2As. Or did we do 2As?
We did the 2As. Let's start with the 2As.
That's right.
Bedingfield Southwest.
Yeah, I believe that's it.
All right. So, folks, we just mentioned all the teams that are in the playoffs. Now, folks, as is our tradition, it's time to say goodbye to our teams whose season has come to an end. We will update this weekly.
Yes.
Until the season's over. So, Edward, moment of silence, hand to heart. Northeast Carolina Prep. Rocky Mount Academy. Rocky Mount Prep. Nash Central. Northern Nash.
right.
Gentlemen, we salute you.
Yes.
And we'll see you in 2016.
Yep.
Remember, the build-up to 2016 starts
right now.
Right now.
For 5 of our teams. For the other 8, we're going to the playoffs.
Yeah, for those 5. All right, folks, that is going to do it tonight for One Name Producer Lee. He's flipped the switches, hit the buttons tonight. For Ed Green.
Yep.
For Ramondo the Raven, who will go back to the murder where it is getting chilly out on that ledge.
It is.
The chilliness is finally here. Because you know it's November and it's finally getting below 70 degrees for football.
Yeah.
What is this, South Florida?
I like it.
Jeez Louise.
I kind of like it.
Folks, I'm Wes Bradshaw. Hey, Clint. Big thanks to all our sponsors you saw them below. Get us on the Facebook, on the Twitter, on the Periscope, on the Instagram, on the podcast.
Literally all of it.
Literally all of it. If you don't know how to get it now, you haven't really paid much attention this year.
I don't blame you.
Who could? Big thanks, as always, to our title sponsor, Roger G. Turner Associates. No sports show next week. Wesley and Ferrum, season finale, we'll have it for you. Definitely keep an eye, though, on all of those mediums. We will have all your updates coming after round 1 of the playoffs. We'll see you folks next week here in 2 weeks for more of the all-new sports show. Good night, America.
Good night, Palace.
God, I might get in trouble for that.
Nah, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's actually fine.